Welcome back to 5.3, taking a look at slope-intercept form. Super crucial and pivotal Algebra 1 topic that comes up in Algebra 2 and definitely in Algebra 1. We've already seen equations that look like this where we have y equals mx plus b. So let's fill in the blanks as far as what each little thing means. In 5.1, we talked about the slope of the line, which measures the steepness, where we said that we could have slopes that go up and to the right, down and to the left, slopes of 0, or vertical lines, which we called what? What were these kind of lines called again? They were straight up and down. Undefined. You already knew that. And it was in 5.1, so we'll call it again. We see that the second part's new, so this is a new guy or new girl on the block. Say what's up to the y-intercept. Hanging out here towards the end. So what this type of form is slope-intercept form, which I think makes total sense because slope is seen with x. The intercept, the y-intercept in particular, is also in there. So this kind of just really rolls off the tongue. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We see equations that are like this a ton. They'll be really important, and we'll see them as they come up. Let's talk a little bit about the y-intercept, because we haven't seen that new bit before. Or maybe we have. Let's find out. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point minus the little spelling check or mistake, error, if you will. Y-coordinate of the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Please note that the value of x is always 0 at the y-intercept. So what this is, the y-intercept is really just a point that is a good starting point for us to graph. And it's conveniently located on the y-axis as seen here in green. So that's what it is. It's really convenient to map out. It's also really easy to spot because as soon as you find the y-axis, you'll probably find some point that's there. And that's the y-intercept. And so we'll break this down based off of the equation when it's just given some numbers to throw into the mix. I know that I personally get stuck, so I always try to rewrite the general form of the equation before I start answering whatever the question's asking. So this question's asking us for what the slope is and the y-intercept. I'm going to color coordinate in this section a little bit. Y-intercept of the equation y equals 5x minus 2. So I know that the slope is always next to x. So the number next to x in this case is 5. So this is definitely going to be our slope, which means that this is positive slope. So when it's graphed out, it'll go up and to the right. Just as a quick sketch. The y-intercept, however, what do you think that's going to be? So I know that this says, yeah, a plus b, and although in this case it says minus 2, which isn't quite the same sign, you might be scratching your head, but negative 2 is actually going to be considered our y-intercept. So let's make a note on that. This negative 2 is still considered our y-intercept. Or if you really want to show that it's a point, you could say your y-intercept is 0, negative 2. Because remember, the value of x is always 0 at the y-intercept. So we fulfilled what they were asking. The slope was 5, y-intercept was negative 2, and we're going to move on. So now we're being asked to write the equation of the line where the slope is negative 4/5. Well, whenever they mention slope, I know that this is another way to express the m in that general form. And the y-intercept is 7. So I know that the y-intercept is 7 because they mention it. Let's put that negative 4/5 next to an x term. Y-intercept is positive 7, so let's just add on 7. What's missing, however, from the general form in this answer? What does this have to be equal to? You should be saying y. Because if we don't have this equal to y, then we can't really graph it. So make it a habit to set this equation equal to y. And so we're cruising right along. We've seen the equations, and now we'll go towards the visual. Because, again, this chapter is all about graphing. The previous chapter was too. So now we'll try and make sense of these graphs. Now that we know what the y-intercept is, that's a pretty easy point to plot. So I'll give you some steps here. If we're going with the visual, the y-intercept is definitely the first thing that you're going to want to get. So what point is going to be our y-intercept on this line? Hopefully you're saying -2. See here. So our y-intercept in this case is 0, -2. The next step we need is the slope. As a quick refresher from 5.1, we said that this was the change in y over the change in x. That being said, if we're going to use this, we need another point on the line. So notice that we have a few points we can map out. We could say that this is probably a point seen here. This is -1, -4. This is 1, 0. This is 2, 2. So I'm personally going to make my life easy. I'm going to go from this y-intercept to this point here with my change in x. This is just going to be +1. Change in y is going to be up 1 and another. So our change in y is +2. We can put 2 over that 1. This is going to be our slope of 2. And so keep in mind, we're still asked to write this as an equation. So we have y, we have our slope of 2, we have x, and then we're subtracting 2. So what's cool about this is that we have a few points that we've mapped out here. If we're not convinced that they're going to work or that this equation's right, we can always plug in some of these points and check. Like we could check 1, 0. If we plug in where x is 1, the outcome should be the y-coordinate, which is 0. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 2 is definitely 0. So we're definitely correct because this point was on the line and we wanted that to happen. I'll give you a moment to try the next one. So pause the video, give it a shot, see what's up with this. We got our y-intercept sitting nice at +2. So 0, 2 is definitely on the line. So that's our y-intercept. Our b term in this case is 2. The slope is pretty easy to map out. We can go down 1 and over 1 to get here. We can keep doing this. Down 1 over 1. So this was down 1 and then +1 in the x direction. So our change in y was -1, change in x was +1, so our slope's -1. As far as an equation, we could say that this is -1x plus 2. But you're crafty, you know that you don't really need to write that 1 in. So just say it's y equals -x plus 2. And then move on with your life. Make a sandwich. Look back at your work, make sure it makes sense while you do whatever you need to do today. Email me with any questions, come to class with them if you're stuck. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.